But I'm here with Peter and Rod. And actually, I'm just going to turn it right over to Peter.
Okay, hi, thank you, Jane. Yeah, my guest this morning is Rod Culham. He's my partner in crime on Thursday mornings during my shift. I'm lucky enough to work with Rod and his partner Bruce, who couldn't make this interview. But so, Rod, we're doing a little show here that highlights volunteers and how important they are to the food bank. Actually, how important they are to the world. But that's another subject altogether. I've often said, if it wasn't for volunteers, small towns would burn down. That's why they call them volunteer fire departments. But anyway, Rod and I work at almost the front of the house. Your partner works at the very point of the spear, delivering food to people, but you are in charge of administration and interviewing people and getting them their proper credentials in the computer, et cetera, et cetera. But tell me why you chose the food bank years ago. You've been here a long time. Why did you choose to volunteer?
Well, first of all, I'm going to just elaborate on what I do here, because you were kind of looking for words.
That's what
as our clients come in, I sit at a computer and I input their information. If they're new, I create a profile for them. And if they've already been here in the past, I look them up in our computer system. And then we determine what they need for this particular visit.
Right.
And then I send the information on the computer to all sorts of people who rush around and put together the
That's true.
thing.
The army behind us.
And then that's where Bruce, my partner, comes in and he takes the food out to people. And you greet them at the door and you bring them to our tables.
That's right.
Anyway, so why do I do it?
The question is, how long have you been here?
How long?
And how did you get involved?
So I started you remember just when we were starting to figure out what COVID actually was going to mean to us, in March of 2020, oh my God. 2020.
Yeah.
In March of 2020, and there was a situation here at the food bank where they needed more people because they actually had to divide the shifts into 2 shifts of people, just in case something happened to one shift of people than the other shift.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden they needed some more volunteers. My name was on the list. I came in and volunteered one day, and Marianne, who works here as an employee here, had sung in one of my choirs. I'm also a choral conductor. And she had sung in one of my choirs, and she kind of went, oh, I could use this guy. So, because communication skills and stuff like that. So she sat me at the front desk right from the beginning.
Good.
Actually, I'm just going to interrupt a little bit, though. Rod is so amazing with the clients that come in. I love the fact that you're so gentle, you're so quiet, you're just, and as somebody from the food bank, you are like wonderfully amazing at all that you do. So
I've often thought, because I sit beside him as a greeter sometimes, occasionally I'll get off my butt and go to the door. But anyway, I sit there, and Rod, I get the feeling that when they leave, they feel like he's a friend.
Yeah.
True.
Well, you're making me sound like a benevolent person.
But
you should see
are
me in a
benevolent
traffic
person.
jam. I just am. I get angry.
No,
I start yelling at people. But no, that's not the personality I bring out when I'm working at the food bank. And I do try to help people. So that's my goal.
You do, and you go way beyond what's necessary. It's really good. So let's just talk about your background now, because you were a teacher.
I was a teacher.
Maybe you're always a teacher.
Yeah, you don't stop.
No, that's true. And you taught music?
I taught music and drama.
Okay. Where?
Well, the last 25 years of my teaching career, I was in Park Hill at North Middlesex District High School. And once I got to that school, I just couldn't leave because the kids were so nice.
My daughter actually went to that high school. Yeah, my youngest daughter. It's a wonderful place. And you have continued your interest in music, of course, as I know from talking to you, with being involved in, your church, for instance, and you're there every week and organizing that, but also some major London events, right? Like the Grand Theatre, like the high school project.
Oh, a little bit, but I started Pride Men's Chorus London way back, I retired, after I retired in 2014, and
You started that?
I started,
the Pride Men's Chorus. Wow.
I had already been a conductor. I've conducted choirs like Broadway Singers, London Film Musica. So, yeah. So I had some community involvement and hopefully bringing that to my experiences here as well. Yeah.
So here comes a tough one. What is one or two of the most memorable interviews that you've had?
Well, this one.
Yeah, with clients for the food bank. Can you bring any to mind?
Well, there's so many.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
And we have to also be sensitive to their privacy. But there's one family in particular that the man came in and he had his wife's ID. They were from another country, so it was passports. And then 4 girls the exact same birth date. So he had quadruplets. And I'm going through, oh my, this guy has quadruplets. Then I look at the next 2 kids, and they're twins. So 4 female quadruplets and 2 male twins. So that was one. Let me think. Oh, there's so many. One thing we haven't brought up is that I'm fluent in Portuguese and I speak Spanish.
Exactly. I was going to bring
so
that.
there are a group of people that come Thursday and Friday mornings simply because there's somebody that can speak their language to help them out.
Yep.
So some of those are interesting.
And they hope that they get you from the greeter assigning them people to. Yeah. So
I think.
I love the look on their faces. Some of them actually, they're coming for the first time and they bring somebody who's fluent in English to translate for them. And then you get them and they all go, oh, it's wonderful. Somebody speaks Spanish. And the translator looks a little disappointed.
Yeah, the translator does. Yeah. Another thing you were talking about, interviews, the ones that, of course, we get people from all walks of life. We get everybody here.
Yeah.
I think sometimes the hardest ones are the people that have recently come into a situation where they were going in an upward direction,
Right.
and then all of a sudden,
Right.
something has happened. They've lost a job. They've had a divorce. They've whatever, and now all of a sudden they're in a situation where I don't want to be here. Sometimes they even do things like they own a house. They've got a mortgage.
Right.
They own cars. They've got car payments, and now they're in a situation where, bam, something has happened in their lives.
And their cupboards are
or
empty.
a disease or something like that. And
They're in kind of shock and
they're in shock.
And they look,
and they come here and they're embarrassed that they have to use the food bank, and I try to,
exactly.
I help them out with that, with their own feelings about it. I say, well, that's why we're here. I think those are sometimes the difficult ones. Of course, everybody, people that are coming from war-torn countries that are here.
Exactly.
And they're saying, I was doing really well in Syria or the Ukraine or in Nigeria or wherever they're from. And all of a sudden, I'm in a position where I now have to, I have university degrees, or I had a well-established job, and now I'm in a situation where I have to go to a food bank. And we're here for you.
And I get to observe. I've seen you and other administrators with people who are really new to the country. It brings to mind a couple with their kids who came in from Ukraine one morning a few weeks ago, and they'd been here 2 weeks or so. And when they realized that they were going to go home with one bag of, groceries and how much was involved in what we were going to give them, they kind of looked at each other and went, whoa.
Yeah, we do. We are able to send them home. We give them meat or an equivalent for meat for vegetarians. We give them produce, fresh produce. We have dry hampers that are full of the dry goods, the canned goods, stuff like that, condiments. We give them bread, eggs, and milk.
Yeah.
And people walk out of here and say, this is cool. It doesn't last. It's not going to last them for a month. They're only allowed to come once a month. But it lasts them
That's right.
for a period of time that
That's
they
correct.
can that they can at least get by, that it helps them to get through a difficult time period.
I'm always gratified by what I see and what I do here, and you are too, aren't you? Do you feel good when you work?
Yeah. Yeah, always.
Yeah.
That's why I do it.
And we work with some wonderful volunteers too,
Yes, we do.
like you. Okay, thanks. Thank you very much.
That's basically it. Is there any question we didn't ask you you'd like us to ask you?
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, No, don't go on. I'll talk for days.
Oh, that's
I
okay.
I enjoy my experiences at the food bank so much,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm rewarded. It's a bit like that. Remember the IKEA commercial where the she's running out of the store and she says, start this car,
Start the car.
Because I feel like I've actually taken some more than I've given to the place every time I leave the place.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. I think what's great, that's in many ways, the core of the food bank for us is the volunteers, because not only would it not operate without it, but it's that kind of spirit, actually. It's community spirit, because you're not serving the food bank per se, you're serving the people that are coming here for
Yeah,
help, right? And
that's right.
That's huge.
Yeah.
You both are really important to that.
Yeah.
So
Thanks a lot.
that's
Thank you.
awesome.